Matthew, hello. It is great to see you again. It's been 4 months since our last interview. So I'm sure in that time you have quite a bit of an update to give us. For some context, you had earned 15,000 in 3 weeks at the time, and you were traveling around, right? I think that was the situation.
Yeah, yeah. I currently moved. I was in the process of moving to New Zealand then, and I'm still in New Zealand, but just traveling through the country.
Okay, let's begin with that. How have travels been for you?
Dude, it's been really cool. It's been my dream to come here since I was six, so it's nice to finally get it out of the way and open things up. And I mean, I'm a big Lord of the Rings nerd, so I just did the Mount Doom hike on Monday, and I was going through all that stuff, which was really cool. Um, I mean, yeah, it's a gorgeous country. There's a lot more unexpected things here, like a little bit more car theft and all that stuff that you don't really think of from a place like New Zealand, but it's it's just the same as anywhere else in that regard.
Right. You say Lord of the Rings. I didn't even know it was filmed in New Zealand. So what parts of it were from New Zealand?
All of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit were filmed here.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's yeah. And so yeah, New Zealand is Middle Earth, which is, why I wanted to come here when I was six. So
Mhm.
yeah, they
Interesting.
have and you can get books with all the different filming locations. So I got my Google Maps is just all pinned with different areas, and I'm trying to go to all the spots I can and check out all the stuff.
Which have been your favorites then?
Man,
From
I spent my birthday in Hobbiton, and that was a riot because they built the bar and they got the whole town that you can go through and everything. So I did this big dinner fest there. They had a banquet. Somebody told them that it was my birthday, and they had a folk band playing, and they got me up on stage singing "Brown Eyed Girl" in front of like 120 people at Hobbiton, and it was just really cool.
Mhm.
It's just some of those experiences that you would shy away from before, but as you grow and you're just like, hey, I want to put myself out there. Yeah, I'll come up. I'll do that.
Mhm. All right. Super cool. Okay, so
Yeah.
traveling around, what else have you been doing? Are you still doing same as last time in terms of work, or have you transitioned to something else?
I've been, switching through a couple jobs, just depending on kind of timing and everything. It was really cool because I've been going through the content creation campus, and I had a painting job up north here for a little bit just to make some extra money, and the house I was painting was just it was up in this inlet up on top of the hill with like 306 or 720-degree view of water, and you could see all the islands of the Bay of Islands, and it was just like an astounding view. And I was like, hey, can I fly my drone around here? And they're like, yeah. They're like, we'll pay you for the footage of our house. So I took footage of their house and stuff, and I was like, yeah. I was
Mhm.
like, business equals money in.
Yep, yep.
So,
I heard some
and
things about that you can just get work as a drone operator. If you're good at flying the drone, then yeah, people actually want that type of footage. So have
yeah,
you
and
considered doing more of that? Just random?
yeah, yeah, I bring it on all my ventures. You need Most places need licenses, and there's a lot of places where you need to okay it with the airports and the flight, depending on the area. If there's an airport nearby or helicopter pads, which there are lots of in New Zealand, and but it's super cool, super easy. You can pick up a drone for what I think $1,000 US,
Even less.
and yeah,
The
if you get one of the
DJI
older
Mini
ones,
3 is like what 400 probably, and
yeah,
it's
because I
got
think they just dropped the
HD.
four.
Oh, I didn't know that. Damn.
Yeah, they just dropped the four because I'm flying the Mini 3 Pro
Hmm.
right now. And but yeah, no. So I've been taking drone footage for people and this and that, and it's nice because by the time you do like 5 or 10 houses, you've already paid for the drone, and it literally takes you no more than an hour to do the filming.
Hmm.
And you can even set on the drone, like it has master shots and stuff. You can even just pinpoint the house and then you just press the button and the drone will go through its automatic cycles. And then you're like, oh, here's your footage. And they're like, this is so cool. And you're like, I didn't even have to do anything.
Hmm. Uh,
There's so many easy ways to make money out there.
hmm. That's the thing. People just don't have the information or direction to know that that's a thing you can do. Because, as the saying
Yeah.
goes, you don't know what you don't know. So yeah.
It's true.
Okay. And now
Yeah. So the
you were gonna say?
I was just gonna say the travels have been great, man. This has been a beautiful country to explore.
Hmm.
Yeah, last time we chatted, I was living up on the right on the bay in the ocean front. You know, back in Canada, I live in the mountains, so it's just so cool to be on the ocean.
Hmm.
Um, and all the volcanoes here just blows my mind.
That's funny use of words. Blows your mind. Volcano.
Volcano, yeah,
There you
could have been intentional.
go. Nice. All right. We got volcanoes, Lord of the Ring, unexpected car thefts. What else has happened in 4 months in terms of work? Are you video editing?
Yeah, yeah, I'm mostly doing, well, I did a big dive into the AI video editing.
Mhm.
So like um, video masking with AI. And I've been playing around trying to dial all the settings in so it doesn't go off the rails. And that's been really cool. It's like you can just take anything and you can just, it's so crazy how it matches the footage because it'll take the video and then split it into the little pictures and then the AI will run through the photos and then put it back into a video. And I just think that's so cool because then you just type in look like Batman and then all of a sudden all your movements are Batman. Or you can become a Lego person or dude, it's almost endless what you can do with it,
Mhm. And what
which is
about in terms of
really
client
cool.
work? Have they appreciated you doing that, or are you just playing around with it? Because I'm sure it
That
would be
that's
pretty cool as a creative way to make video edits.
Yeah, and I think what's cool about it is to accent videos more than it is to just make like full on like
Mhm.
animations just based on real life. But it's really cool if you're doing you're doing a shoot for somebody and then it just cuts into like an AI for like 2 seconds and then back to normal. Just like these different little effects and accents, which are relatively easy to pull off. I haven't been doing it for clients yet. I've mostly just been trying to dial in my settings so that I have a, I have a consistent product that I can deliver, opposed to just, throwing out gibberish here and there.
Mhm.
And then I've just been mostly editing my own videos. I was working on a music video for somebody back home and still just waiting to hear back on that and how that's
Mhm.
going.
Interesting. Okay. Now, you did mention pre-interview that you did a 10-day meditation retreat. Would that be the right way to call it? What was that about?
Yeah, yeah, it's a Vipassana meditation. It's what they call the style of meditation. And honestly, somebody came up to the hostel and we were just chatting. He saw that I was working AI on my laptop, and then we just started talking AI stuff. He's like, "Oh, I play with this and this and this," and then so we just kind of hit it off on that. And then he's like, "Oh, dude, you should go do this meditation thing." And I was like, "Whatever, I'm down." He's like, "It's 10 days. It's a free 10 days. They feed you, they give you a place to sleep, and to be introduced to it, you got to do the 10-day thing." And he's like, "But there's no talking. You don't get dinner. They wake you up at 4. You meditate all day till like 9. You go to sleep, and then and there's no communication, no talking. You're in your room by yourself." And my first thought was like, "No, dog." I was like, "That's hard. No, thank you." And then I caught myself, and I was like, if the only reason I'm not doing this is because it's hard, I'm like, I'll to myself, I'll be a coward if I don't do this. So
Mhm.
I made it my mission to go get this thing done. And yeah, there was a couple days I almost left. And I was like, yo, this is stupid. I'm out of here. But you stick it out and then everybody on the last day they take the vow of silence off and you're allowed to talk. And it's just a really cool experience. And a very inward experience, right? So it's focusing on less of the stimulations around you and understanding how to look inwards. And they say it's for it helps with addictions or psychosomatic problems, and it helps with cleaning and averting things and that kind of stuff. But I didn't know. I just somebody said it was like 10 days of silence, and I was like, let's go.
Mhm.
So I didn't really know what I was signing up for, but it was a sweet experience.
I would imagine there's more to go into in terms of details there, which I would like to know.
Yeah.
So, could you break it down from what you remember, what each day was like for you, just the process of going through it?
Oh yeah, almost. So day one, well, you get there, they kind of you can talk to a couple people, you get some food, um, and they kind of tell you their expectations and what you got to do, and then they introduce the first technique of the meditation, which is just focusing on your breath. So breathing in through natural breath through the nose, and you're just trying to focus on this little area and silence your mind. And so the smaller the area, the sharper the mind gets. And all the time your mind's just fluttering away and you just got to pull it back in and be like, no, I'm focusing on my nose. And the nose knows, you know? And then so day one was pretty weird with the not talking thing. And then day two was pretty difficult because you're just sitting there for 9, 10 hours meditating and surprisingly sore in the body, right? Like you're
Yeah.
kneeling or sitting cross-legged for that long, um, and it seems so simple. Like to me, I was like, "Pff, dude, no, I was sore, man. Um, Day two, I was like, this is dumb. But they show the teacher talks for an hour every night and kind of goes through the process, and that was really cool because he'll tell some jokes and everybody laughs, and he goes through basically everything you thought of that day. He addresses at the end of the day, and so which I liked a lot more because he talks about what you were experiencing that day after you already experienced it, so you don't have the expectations of it prior. But then when he starts talking about it, you're like, oh shit, okay, so I am not going crazy. And then day three was okay. By day four, I was used to the not talking. And day four, they teach the next part of the technique, which is just focusing on feeling your body, just with your mind and like understanding how to feel all the muscles and like feel where pain is and feel where pain's coming from. Because usually it doesn't come from as big of a spot as hurts. It's just like a little narrow spot. So you just kind of try to focus your mind and understand where things are experiencing. And they call it the sila, the morality, um, the mastery of mind, and then wisdom are the three aspects of it. So they make you take five precepts, which are no intoxicants, no talking, no sexual activity, no um, no telling lies, and then and no killing. So everything was vegetarian. You weren't allowed to kill bugs or anything. And so, and a lot of those are really easy to do if you don't talk. Like you can't lie if you're not allowed to talk. So, and they separate the genders up into different dorms. And yeah, day four they went into the Vipassana meditation itself. Um, Day five, day five was pretty normal for me. Day six was hard, and because they say day two and day six are the hardest days, and then so I powered it through day six, and day seven I was about to leave again on day seven. I was like, this is stupid. I can just go do this at home now. I know what I'm doing. Like, what else is there to learn? You know, which is pretty ignorant of me. Um, and but by the end of day seven, because they tell you to go through parts of your body that you can't feel, and I was like, I can't really feel much of my spine, so I started digging through my spine, and it just opened up all the nerves, man. I almost brought to tears how painful going up the lower spine was. Um, yeah, that was a crazy experience. Just opened up a lot, and then I started having night terrors because it just brings up so much, I don't know, stuff from your past.
Wow.
It was crazy. And then day eight was great. It was just like not like great, but it was just a normal day. Um, and then day nine, I was ready to go. They lifted the vow of silence halfway through day nine, and then day 10 is mostly like just like a chill meet and greet, talk with everybody. Um, and you're not allowed to do exercise, so no yoga, no, can't sit there doing push-ups. They want you to just focus on nothing but the meditation and they don't want anything else to interfere with the effects. So it's like, oh, so now you can, all the results you get or don't get, you understand are from just the meditation. But if you start, doing calisthenics or workouts, then they're like, well, are you experiencing this from the meditation or are you experiencing this from the calisthenics? So they wanted you to just focus purely on the technique for those 10 days. And so they had like a little park you can walk around on. And by, I think it was day 8, um, I figured there's a little waterfall up the trail. And I was like, you know what? Glowworms like damp spaces. So I went there after our night session. And dude, it was like stepping into a new world. I don't know if you've ever seen a lot of bioluminescence, but I'm currently obsessed with it. Um, and glowworms are so cool. In the caves, it just looks like you're looking up at stars. And when you're on the pathways, it just looks like you're just the whole bank is lit up with all these little blue dots. And there was just layers and layers upon the forest around the waterfall. It looked like you walked into like a magical world or something. It was super cool. Yeah, just something that I feel everybody should experience. It's just so beautiful. I mean, the worms are kind of ugly, but they make nice light.
Nice. Okay.
But
Do you think you also saw it more beautifully because your senses were no longer overstimulated? They were more uh, perceptive to anything. Basically, yeah, to anything. So in that case, even
yeah,
visually, seeing something looked better than if you had seen it 10 days prior. You even experienced it
yeah,
more, you think?
100%. Because basically the whole meditation is to work on mastering your mind and sharpening your senses through the mind. So most of the time too, your eyes are closed, so you can't see, um, which is just because the our eyes pick up so many moving bits. It's so easy to get distracted. So it's half the time you're meditating, your eyes are closed. So not only are you not speaking, but your eyes are closed, and so when and it's cool because you have to discover it. It's not like somebody told me it was there. I was like, I wonder. And then so you go discover it and you're in this whole different world. And your senses are just so much sharpened over that time to sit and you're not scrolling your phone, you're not getting all this junk that comes with um,
Mhm.
today's life.
What did you learn
So
about
yeah, I
your
100%
focus
agree.
in that time? Because
Oh,
a
dude, that
lot of
is
it is
shit.
focus. Hmm?
Yeah, yeah. I learned that my focus is bad.
Was bad.
Um, yeah, like, dude, my mind would just go, and I'd be like, oh, right, I'm supposed to be focusing on this, and then you pull it back, and then like a couple minutes later, you're thinking about this other thing. It was really hard to get the mind silenced, but by day 4, and everybody would move around, like everybody would readjust, and they like move the blanket, and they like change their seating. But by day 10, during the sits, nobody would move. So it was really cool to go from like everybody rustling to everybody in the course. I think there was about 50 people in the course.
Oh,
And by the
wow.
end of it, like nobody was moving. They were all just like powering through. And that was really cool because, you were doing it together, even though you weren't doing it together.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, no. And then to be able to just sit there and focus on one activity and clear your mind of stuff and actually experience a little bit of silence. I have one of those inner dialogues that's always just running. And so it's like, oh, what if I did this? What if I did that? What if I did this? And then you just put so much focus in the sensations in your body that just, there is no running dialogue.
Mhm. And
It's kind of a weird thing to explain without experiencing,
what
you know?
about pain then? The pain you felt from sitting still for extended period of time, you're saying 9, 10 hours. When I do even half an hour, if I haven't warmed up properly, then yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
pretty bad aching coming up. So yeah, how do you deal with that?
Well, that's part of it, right? So this is apparently the meditation that Buddha used, Gautama Buddha got used to get enlightenment. So when he sat under on a rock and he's like, I'm going to sit here till I get enlightened, this was the meditation he did until his enlightenment came. And so basically that's what it is. You're feeling the sensations and then you're not averting the pain, but you're not clinging to the pain. So you're just kind of what they call it is your sankharas. So your bad juju is in the pain. So once you're purifying your body through the sensations and feeling all the muscles and everything. And so you just kind of feel through the pain until it makes it better. But, a lot of times it's hard to move my legs afterwards.
Damn.
And they weren't full like 9 hour sits. So you do, a 2 hour session, you'd have a break, you do a 1 hour session, then you'd have like an hour break for breakfast, and then you do like an hour and a half session, a couple little sessions, and then you'd have a break in between each, like a 5-10 minute break, and then um, breakfast, lunch, and then there wasn't a dinner, but they had fruit put out during a tea break.
I see. Okay, I was imagining 9 to 10 hours all at once.
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
I mean, that would be pretty cool, but I think there are people that do it, but not on their first one, because they do courses that are up to 45 days.
Mm-hmm.
So like just 45 days of silence and you get a little meditation chamber and you're just
Damn, that seems a bit too extreme at that point. But fair enough.
yeah, yeah. But some people, want to commit to the life of being a monk or
Hmm.
however that is.
Okay. Then, how many people actually left while you were there that were just like, "Fuck
Y-
this, I'm out."
Dude, I don't know how many left on the girls' side because we didn't really get to communicate or see them really. So, but on our side, three people left. Um, one guy left earlier on. I don't know what happened there. You don't really know why they leave. You just kind of notice that they're no longer there. And then one of my table mate, because you sit at the table and everybody's got name tags on their seat, and so the guy sitting beside me left. Again, no idea why. And they have like an emergency contact thing, so who knows? Maybe something happened and somebody got a hold of it, or maybe they just couldn't cut it and it was just too difficult for them to power through. But we had three guys leave on the guys' side at least.
And roughly how many guys were there? Because you said 50 in total, right? Or is that 50 guys?
Yeah, so I think 20, 25, 25.
Oh, how did they even
I
find a
want to
perfect
say.
split like that? Interesting.
I think that they just because they have courses all over the world. They got centers in Japan and India, China, the States, Mexico, Canada. So a lot of them are pretty filled up. And like I was on a wait list to get into the course. I didn't know
Mm.
till 2 days before the course started that I got in. So I think they just have a certain amount of rooms
Okay.
that they can fill, and then they just fill it.
So, now, how different do you notice yourself from after having done it to before? What differences do you notice?
Dude, big difference in my reactions. So it's less of, right, like it's less of a quick reaction. This happened and I'm like, or like upset or angry or agitated. It's just more like, oh, this is making me feel a certain way, but am I really mad at the situation? So it's just really cool because it gives like a cushion or a buffer, a cushion between my reaction and or between me receiving information and reacting to information. I can, now dial in and be like, oh, wait a second, this isn't probably the best thing to say here. I can say it like this and it comes out better instead of just firing off,
Mhm.
whatever comes up first, which is really cool because it gives you time in that, you focus on your breath and you're like, just take a second, breathe, and you're like, sweet. This is just a natural chemical compound going through my body. What is the sensation that my body's feeling right now? Um, what is the chemical compound or the chemical reaction, sorry, when I feel anger? I get warm, this happens, this happens, this happens. Sweet. Okay. Well, does that have any relevance in the situation? No. Okay, well then let's get rid of it. We don't need it. So
Very
that's pretty cool. And it doesn't happen all the time, right? Obviously, it's one of those things you need to practice, but just starting with, if you react and yell 10 times when something crazy happens, even if you're only doing it 9 times now, you're still making progress. That's been cool. And it's just been really cool to try to focus on the skills while moving and like, the sensing the body and just heightening your senses almost, you got that spider tingle, the spider sense is coming in, which is pretty cool.
Interesting. And I know if I done something like that, I'd hate to be looking at my phone after, just because of I done something a bit similar before, not quite that extreme. It was just 2 days away, and I wanted to see just completely get away from technology, everything. And then looking at my phone
Yeah.
was actually difficult after, just because I hated what it was doing to my brain. Because I got more in touch with my, I guess, senses or whatever, and I could just feel looking at my phone how
Yeah.
it was not degrading, but something was happening in my brain, just a very uncomfortable feeling while looking at my phone. Did you experience that
Yeah.
as well?
It's draining. Yeah, it's draining. Um, I uh I got my best friend sent me a really cool message when I got my phone back, so I was pretty stoked about that. But other than that, yeah, always like checking it, seeing, oh, did so and so say this or whatever. Yeah. No, I preferred not having it. And when I moved to BC back in Canada, I switched to a flip phone. And I would only like go on social media once every 2 weeks. And so that was super nice because like I could talk and text, but I couldn't just sit there
Mhm.
scrolling. And I did that for about a year. And dude, my peace of mind and happiness was just so much higher. Unfortunately, when you're getting into video editing
Right,
and
right.
content creation, you need to be part of that world a bit. But it's nice to just go dark for a bit and just regain that peace.
Cool. Interesting. Uh, Quite a story there in terms of your journey. That was in again. This happened within past 4 months, right?
Yeah, yeah, all within the last 4 months.
So it was a lot of
So
finding your inner. This is weird to say. It feels weird to say, but it is kind of what it is. You found yourself, like you understand yourself better now. And
yeah,
going within,
100%.
there's another thing I know that all the answers we actually need are within. So having gone through that 10 days of meditation, would you agree with that?
Yeah, and they talk about that too. They talk about how Gautama Buddha was saying for that we're just made up. They're called kalapas in whatever language. I believe it was Indian, some old Indian, but it's just like all these tiny particles, and like so they're talking about how nothing's actually solid, that we're just made up of waves and tiny particles, and they got to that conclusion by meditating and looking inward, where you see scientists in America, thousands of years later, get there with their bubble machine, and
Mhm.
they're like, oh, we're all just made up of atoms. So it's really neat because the law of nature, right? Gravity. There's a lot of things that just no matter what happens, it just they just stand through time, and we're made through that as well. So it's cool to just all the answers are within,
Mhm. Cool.
and we can just figure it out if we dig deep enough.
Hmm. But with the modern society, no one's really going to dig that deep unless they go on retreats like you did and commit to it.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of
So,
external stimulants.
mhm.
you know, Being on our phones and just stuff happening and how fast society is, which I think is super cool too. I think we're entering into a really new age, especially with AI moving as fast as it is. I think we're into a new technological revolution, if you will. And I think in the next 5 years, a lot of things will be unrecognizable.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. And considering what you've gone through, I guess you've now been able to find a balance then between work and actually focusing on yourself. But I don't know how else to phrase that. I think that's the best way I can say. Because I say some people, oh, I just full on work mode, 16 hours a day. They can do that. But for some, it's just better to first maybe find themselves from within, and then find the balance there between the extreme working and extreme relaxing is the wrong way to put it. But again, finding yourself within. How else could I say this? That's
Yeah.
the only thing that comes in mind. So you
Um,
go to both extremes and then you find the balance in between. Is that what you've come to?
yeah, and I think there's seasons. So like when I did the 15 grand in the 3 weeks that I worked, man, I was pulling 19-hour days doing nothing but work, 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 work. So I think there's times in your life where, it's time to hustle, it's time to provide, it's time to work. And then I think there's times in your life where it's like, hey, maybe I can sit for a minute and enjoy this. I don't want this moment to pass by so quickly. Because usually when you're hustling, I mean, you look back and you're like, dude, I don't know what I did, but it worked and I made money, but I don't really have any crazy stories or this or any experiences. So I think there's seasons in your life where you should hustle. And I think if you try to balance your whole way, you're just going to be stuck in the middle, which is unfortunate, right? Unless you're happy that way, if you want to just have that, middle class house, job, car, easy as, but still like to go out on the weekends and stuff, that's definitely achievable. But if you want more, you got to hustle more. And then, or if you want less, you got to, take some time to find those. Even people with less money are still as stressed out about money. It's a different kind of, yeah. Relaxation isn't the right word. Inner peace sounds really cheesy, but I think just kind of acceptance where things are
Mhm.
is another way to put it. But
I like how you said that it's in seasons. Sometimes you do need several months of just going super hard, and there are some months where you can balance it out a bit more. Yeah, in seasons, good way to put it. Cool. And
yeah,
what since you've been doing a lot of traveling, exploring, I'm presuming income isn't as much as last time done. But what what have you done in terms of income?
yeah. So I guess in the last 10 months I pulled about I want to 10 grand. Um, I bought a car and that was a doozy. I paid 36 for the car, and then you have to take it for a yearly checkup, and then I had to put like 3 more grand into the car, but it should last me for the whole time I'm here. So I was just like, you know what? And then the car's put away, so I just hunkered down. I started a painting business in New Zealand, um, just subcontracting. I picked up shifts at a bar in the evenings, and then I worked the hostel during the day. And the cool thing, I don't think a lot of people. I had somebody message me from TRW asking about what travel's like. It's a lot easier than people think. Like so, I just moved to a new place, and there I'm only doing 9 hours of work a week, and that pays for my living. That pays for my stay. So if you're looking at somebody who wants to be remote and travel and still work and do remote work and trade from their laptop or edit from their laptop and stuff, hostels are a really cool way to go. You can find a bed and a kitchen and showers to use, and it's only costing me 9 hours a week, and then I have the rest of the time to work on other things. Right now, I'm using it to go explore and all the places that I wanted to see since I was a kid. But I mean, it's also been able to work on editing and this and that in my free time as well.
Right. Okay. Then you're a perfect example of the nomad lifestyle. Would that be the right way to put it?
Yeah, I guess so. Nomadic. Yeah, I keep moving around, and but yeah, the nomad is
Digital
right.
nomad, getting video editing clients and then moving around and traveling
Yeah.
using it. Okay, then since you're on this trajectory, where do you see your life heading in the short term, medium term, and long term?
Well, short term, I just really want to conquer this country and see as much of it as I can, so then it's off my list. Long term, I really want to hit all seven continents. I think by the end of next year, I can pull it off. And so I just kind of want to see, I'm taking these 3 to 5 years, I think, to just travel as much as the world as I can, work on my editing, work on my social media building that way, and kind of see where I end up after that. And then I think after that, after I'm done traveling, sorry, I think when I'm done traveling, I kind of want to start looking at places to settle down. The other cool thing about traveling to all these places, I can keep an eye on real estate because I
Mhm.
know if you move around, if you're only in certain countries for a certain amount of time and you keep moving around, then you don't have to pay taxes in those countries. So I want to look at real estate in a bunch of different international countries because I like being everywhere, and then it's just super easy to be like, I'm going to go to Japan, or I'm going to go to Bulgaria, or I got a place in South America, or I'm going to go visit my parents back home, and you can just keep hopping around. And if if I keep practicing my editing and social media skills and client outreach and getting clients, then that's just working from your laptop. You can just be anywhere.
Mhm. Very solid.
So that's kind of long term.
Right. Cool. And I'd say that's a pretty good catch up, Matthew. So to end off,
Yeah, it was really good to see you, man.
you as well. Thank you for all the stories. And yeah, wrap up with final question. I think I would have asked it last time as well. But for people who are unsure about joining the real world, what advice would you have to them?
I I would there's so much knowledge there. I think I said this last time, just the wealth of knowledge that's accessible through the real world on different things. I get it all the time. People are like, dude, your videos are sick or this or that. And I'm like, I only started learning how to do this 6 months ago, which, if you put in the effort, you follow the curriculum, you follow what the professors want you to do, man, you can build up any of those skills in a short amount of time. And I'm pretty sure I've paid for at least my membership, if not more, off just, content creation itself since learning it. So, I mean, and what else are you going to do? Sit and watch Netflix or, just go learn something, go build a skill, go be the person you want to be. And if you're not interested in that, then, leave space for the rest of us.
All right, cool. All right, and if people want to find out more about you or maybe see your travels if you are documenting them, where can they do so?
Yeah, the best place right now is just my Instagram, which is just Matthew Lazinski.
Mhm.
Pretty straightforward. And then, yeah,
Cool. So we'll add that to the description of the video. And yeah, now to wrap up, Matthew, thank you for sharing the meditation story. That was quite interesting. Maybe some people maybe it will be in the back of their minds to maybe try it as well. And we'll have to see.
yeah,
Maybe they'll message you saying, Matthew, I watched your interview and now it inspired me to go do it as well.
yeah. If
Yeah,
anybody has any questions, feel free to drop a line.
cool, cool. So thank you for sharing that. Interesting to hear about your travels as well around New Zealand. Not a place I've ever really considered going to, but it seems to be pretty cool. So glad you're
Yeah,
enjoying it and having a lot of fun there.
thank you.
And I guess yeah, can wrap up there. So thank you for coming on. Look forward to doing another follow up in future. And until then, all the
Yeah,
best.
I really appreciate you having me back.